Shalom, giving all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash, double honors to the elder apostles, elder bishops, and brothers on the great millstone, and the brothers that teach the likewise doctrine. Salutations to the whole elect. This is your brother Rai Banyamian here to share another lesson. Title of this lesson is More Verification Methods Will Lead to an MOTB Push. And the inspiration for this lesson came when I saw this article published by Emmanuel T. Herediano, April 29th. It says, Senate passes bill to require a valid photo ID for use of debit/credit card. Right? More verification methods are being used. Why? Because the MOTB is close. There's a push for verification, digitalization, right? They want to know who you are and what you are doing. And they are using the guise of fraud and scams, which is happening, right? And theft to bring about the MOTB. So the MOTB is something that a lot of people is going to accept, and they're going to be looking forward to it because it will be so many scams that is going on that people will welcome the notion or idea. Plus, it will have other advancements with it, more comfortabilities, more luxuries that will come with it to hide their true agenda, right? Which is to make you an enemy of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai by accepting it. So first and foremost, I want to read Habakkuk, the second chapter, and the second verse, and it says, And the Most High Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai answered me and said, Write the vision and make it plain upon tables. Write this word, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith, right? So Esau Edom is behind these things. He's not a moral, upright man. He's a reprobate, right? This is the same man that is in rulership that is destroying the earth. He is spraying stuff in the atmosphere that he himself have to breathe, and that will affect him as well. So the earth is not in righteous rulership. He is not a morally, upright man. All right. So Lord will in this lesson be edifying unto elect. Scriptures tell us to watch, therefore, and pray. So those of us that have put our hands to the plow, or that is, charged with bringing forward the word, starting with the elder apostles, elder bishops on down, we bring these things out to you, and I'll quote that portion of scripture in the book of Mark, chapter 13, and verse 35, and it says, Watch ye therefore, for ye know not when the master of the house cometh, at even, at midnight, or at midnight, or at the cock crowing, or in the morning. Right? Lest coming suddenly he find you sleeping. And what say I unto you? I say unto all, watch, right? So we don't want to be distracted, with the affairs of this life, with what's going on in the country and what's going on in the world. We need to focus on, these prophecies, because we don't know, one, when our judgment is going to come, because the Most High still have it out for Jake, right? We are still under Jacob. Jacob's trouble is coming, but we are still under the curses that the Most High has prescribed upon us for committing idolatry and adultery, right? Following these other, philosophies and ways of this world, right? Against him, we have sinned against him, and he was highly displeased, right? So he punished us, right? So you don't want to tarry, right? You want to receive this word. Those of you that receive this word and make the necessary changes and believe, make the necessary changes in your life and believe, in him, that when you start seeing these things that are taught on these lessons, these epistles, the highways and the byways, right, when they start seeing the coming, you understand, to prepare, you have already prepared spiritually. So when it comes, the Lord has built you up for the persecution, the trials, and the temptations to come. Right, so I get into the article, Lord willing, it be edifying unto elect, and it's just how everything is going. Everything is going digital, but the Esau, he move with subtlety too. He ain't gonna just come straight out and tell you his full agenda. If you read like a credit card statement, the biggest thing that they want you to see, the interest rate, how much your credit limit would be, stuff like that, they want you to see, right? But the small print is like to the bottom of the the acceptation letter, wherever it is they send you in the mail. And part of that, in small writing, they may have, if you miss a payment, right, they would take out a $90 charge from your account. You understand? Little things like that, or your interest rate is going to go up 120%. You understand? A lot of people, they don't read the fine print, so they don't know. So that's how Esau work. The smallest things, right, or the less flashy part of the wherever it is, the credit card thing, it is, it show you in bold writing the interest rate you're gonna pay, the credit score and all of that, and that is most part what people is concerned about. One, because people have a short attention span. But in other pages or lower down, he has a fine print where he has more nefarious policies and stuff that, or punishments that he have in place for you if you don't pay that bill, on time. And this is how he moves, man. So we need to keep our eyes open. Now, our ID for debit or credit card may seem like a good thing because of all the fraud that's going up, right? And he is behind it, right? He is behind a lot of the fraud, and then these wicked people too is behind it. But Esau, his fraud is going to cost a lot of money because he have access to systems, right? Whereas your little robber, he may try to skim certain things or try to rob you. But Esau schemes, it costs more than your average robber on the corner. All right, so the idea is, need to keep your eyes open. So Lord, within this lesson, facilitate that, keeping your eyes open, right, so that you be not fooled at the end of the day. So here we go. It says, the Senate on Friday unanimously passed Senate Bill 24-22, which would require credit and debit card users to present a valid photo ID when making purchase. Now, this is a law that they passed. They didn't leave it up to the cashier, to ask to see the person's name or debit card number, that the PIN or whatever. That's a form of identification that gives access, right? So with all the theft and stuff going on, this is Esau's solution. It may seem like a good thing, but then at the end of the day, he has underlying issues that he wants to push forward. All right. They passed the bill 24-22, which would require credit and debit card users to present a valid photo ID when making pushes. So I don't know when it's going to trickle down to everyday merchant stores, but expect to, in the future, when you go in a store with a debit card, if you don't have cash, that they would ask for your ID, right? All 8 senators present voted to pass SB 24-22, which now goes to the House of Representatives. Authored by Senator Frank Q. Cruz, SB 24-22 would require all businesses, see that? Require all businesses to establishments to mandate that customers provide a valid photo ID for any transaction involving debit or credit cards, as well as check cash exchanges or purchase. So let's go into that word, mandate. Mandate definition: an official order or commission to do something, the authority to carry out a policy or course of action, regarded as given by the electorate to a candidate or party that is victorious in an election. Right, to give someone authority to act in a certain way. Right. Now this is an official order, similar, instructive or directive. So everyone is going to have to participate in that. The cashier or the merchant is going to ask for your ID, and you're going to have to provide it to them upon purchasing. And there's punishments behind it, right? It says any business found in violation of this measure will be ordered to make restitution for any financial loss suffered by the victim. Unauthorized credit card charges and fees will not be reversed, and the business will be subject to a civil penalty of up to $215 for the first violation and up to $1,000 for each consequent violation. So Esau is making it stick with punishment, right, to make it more, legit. And we don't want these things happen to us anyway. I mean, each of us, we carry, these things are wrong, and we don't want these things happen, right? But then on the flip side of it, Esau has an agenda to bring forth the implantable device, right? Let's try. This is why we are instructed to never trust our enemy. This is Sirach, Ecclesiasticus chapter 12 and verse 10. And behind the scripture coming out a lot in these last days, it says, never trust thy enemy, for like iron rusted, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and be aware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou wipest a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his wrath had not been altogether wiped away. Right? So Esau is being exposed in these last days. My people are seeing his nature, his wickedness. They understanding history and how he played a big part in covering things up. But at the same time, he's going to try to do things to appease, the poor. Right? He do things to make people feel that he's on their side, especially by passing, little laws like this, which is beneficial to the people. But like I said, he has underlying things that, agendas, right, that he want to do. You understand? So he's not to be trusted. He's a carnal man. He doesn't believe in the Most High. I remember we read in Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 4 and stuff, and it says his soul is not upright with within him, this is the same man, Nothing different about him. Continuing on, it says, prior to the bill's passage, Senate floor leader Donald M. Manglona expressed support for the legislation, noting that he had recently spoken to a vendor who processed debit and credit card transactions even over the phone. However, the vendor later mentioned that an individual disputed a transaction claiming identity theft. See? It says Manglona said businesses should take the requirement of showing a valid ID and photo seriously, as it is both their protection and the protection of cardholders. Now, a lot of states because the Real ID Act, right? And I believe May 7th, which is tomorrow, is the deadline for it. So can you imagine? I think Pennsylvania doesn't have a mandated requirement where you can either have it or you don't, but you can still apply for a regular ID / driver license. So can you imagine, with everything that's going on now and with ESO's push for the MOTB, that he require or he mandate that, look, there's no, you can either have it or not, you have to take it. You have to have a real ID. And this is the real ID that you have to show every time that you make a transaction, buying and selling, check cashing. You understand? So see how Revelation, the 13th chapter, comes into play? You need verification, the real ID or digital ID, right, for buying and selling. Soon it's going to be under the skin, man. You understand? So the Lord is not a liar. Prophecy is coming true, man. So we are living in great times, man. All right. I wanted to grab this real quick, man. Same thing, Sirach. The 5th chapter and the 15th verse. And it says, be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or a small. You understand? So this thing here where they say they need to see ID, it may look like it's a small thing and it's beneficial, but his agenda is to ultimately put the highest form, or what he considered the highest form of identification, under his skin. All right. Cruz thanked Manglona for his support. He said, when we introduce legislation, it's not because of us, it's because of the complaints of members of the public. He said he too received a call recently from a senior citizen whose debit card was used without authorization by a family member, resulting in a loss of money. Cruz said it may be difficult for senior citizens to file a normal complaint with the authorities, but his bill will assist them. Senate President Dennis Mendiola, for his part, said SB 24-22 would provide an additional layer of protection for both vendors and consumers. And that concludes the article. All right, lastly, I'm going to read Revelation chapter 13 and verse 16, and it says, and he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, man. So you see where this thing is going? Save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name, right? Which is shy, sty, stigma, right? So as with the real ID, he's requiring a lot of people, to apply for and take this thing to enter and to fly domestically, right? Or to enter into a federal building. And now he is requiring ID for debit and credit card purchases. Last portion of script here. Revelation chapter 20 and verse 4. And soon, man, persecution for this, for not wanting to partake in this society is coming, right? Anything that you want to do, you want to rent an apartment, you like, if you like social events, concerts, football game, baseball games, or whatever, you would have to take this if you want to be able to enjoy the faculties in society. So, if you're a saint following Yahuwah Shem Yahushai, you won't be able to enjoy these things, man, like you would now. So it would behoove you to draw closer to the Most High, right? So that he could have mercy upon you in these times, man. Revelation chapter 20 and 4, and I'll end with this. And I saw the thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahushai, and for the word of the Most High, and which had not worshipped the image, worshipped the Bisalakia, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands, and they lived and reigned with Hamashiach 1,000 years, right? So the persecution is coming. Those prisons that DJT wants to build or send you in a foreign prison, those things will also be used to facilitate, your punishment in these last days. But not every brother is going to go through that. A small number of saints will go through that, but the Most High is going to raise them up. So this is the reality of things that we have to look forward to in these last days. But the good on the other end is coming. So we are here, for punishment and for correction. You know what I'm saying? All this is part of the deal, man. We sin against the Most High, and he is requiring these things of us. Hey, even Yahushua came and he had to drink of that cup, right, where he was punished for our sins. So who are us, right? So we are going to go through things. But just as how Yahweh, he had Yahushua's back, Yahweh and Yahushua have our back. Lord willing, we be of the elect and the host of the angels as well. So keep believing and don't let the hard times dissuade you, right? So this is your brother Rai Banyamia, and I hope this lesson was edifying. Until you next time, shalom, y'all.